Let's go, welcome back, welcome.
Stay back, I got a chainsaw. Uh-oh.
¡Atrás! ¡Traigo una sierra eléctrica! Uh-oh.
Chainsaw de butteiro.
Harry vrouw, je bent je zo. Uh-oh.
Nazad, umane benzopila.
Weer.
Назад, у меня бензопила. Backa, jag har en motorsåg.
God damn, his voice is so shit in Swedish.
Uh-oh.
Poszli, mam piłę mechaniczną. Zawarci sind sehr schein.
Uh-oh.
Natrag, imam motornu pilu. Uh-oh.
Weźcie, ja mam motorko!
O freno wlewić do lofonu z metoprioni. Za kolonii.
Uh-oh. Achter, je har motorsag her. Uh-oh. Forsvind, jeg har en motorsav. Uh-oh.
Varokaa, mulla on moottorisaha. Uh-oh.
Ma olen motorsaagis.
Did the finish.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Because of this claim that they say they saw Jesus resurrected. Like there's something different that goes on there. That they're like, this is a miracle, right? Dead people don't usually rise from the dead.
So what is your personal belief when it comes to the resurrection? What do you think happened? Do you have a belief, or do you just try to interpret the text and try to see what is the message?
Well, I think, so as a historian, I do think it is a historical question. You have a guy who objectively lived, he objectively died, and then individuals close to his inner circle claim that they see him not dead.
Right.
Again.
This is a highly unusual activity.
Highly unusual.
Right. So, but it's hard when you're dealing with illiterate populations, you're dealing with thousands of years of time, you're dealing with an oral tradition, and then you have us sitting here talking about it in 2024, trying to figure it at the end of 2024, trying to figure this out, literally the end.
Yeah.
Last couple days. It's very difficult for anybody who thinks of themselves as an intelligent person who's secular to even entertain the possibility that someone died and come back to life.
And I get that, but we've already talked about the fact that we don't think that the only thing that exists is matter and motion. We as in
Right.
you and I, right?
Right.
Like, we believe that there's something else going on in this world that's a little bit crazy.
There's something else.
And
yeah.
and that to, I think, exclude that, I think excludes something that you're kind of putting blinders on for. And you do have, I mean, you're right in terms of all of these ancient conventions and the ways that things were spread around. But the Gospels are written in the lifetime of the eyewitnesses. And they're written in this period of time where you have groups of individuals who could have fact-checked those things. So,
How do you fact check someone coming back from the dead?
well, if you,
How many people saw his body, right?
well, Paul says that 400 people saw him all at once.
400 people saw the crucifixion.
No, saw the resurrected
resurrection.
Jesus. Yeah, 1 Corinthians
Since you
15,
didn't say
Paul
no
says
more
that
links,
Jesus
here's a
appeared to
40HQ
the
link
disciples,
Fields of
and then he
Heaven
appeared
by
to
Quint Mem
400 people all at
Ayaya.
once. I mean, if we read the Gospel of Luke and the Gospel of, or the Gospel of Luke and Acts, so same author wrote these both documents, he says that Jesus was walking around teaching them for 40 days after he was resurrected.
Imagine being a historian,
And so
but
these are written
also
within a
a
time
religion
period when you have
Christ
people
cock,
who
right?
would have seen Jesus'
No,
ministry,
there were no
who
dinosaurs.
were there, say at
Of
something
course
like
the resurrection
feeding the
happened.
5,000, who could have been able to verify or
Whereas ancient
debunk some of these things that are being said.
astronaut
and you
theory.
go from a bunch of scared guys who, because Jesus wasn't the only messianic figure who arose and claimed to be the Messiah.
Right.
There were a number of individuals both prior to and after Jesus, but they die and the movement dies with them.
Do you think it's possible that he didn't die? And do you think it's possible that they thought he was dead? Because that does happen. There was actually a case very recently where a guy was about to be harvested for organs. They thought he was dead, and this guy started moving again and came back to life. It's a very, very bizarre case because his family had been told that he was going to be harvested for organs. They were preparing for that. And
Yeah.
this guy comes back.
Yeah, I mean, we know a lot about Roman crucifixion, and we
Pretty
know
brutal.
that, and we know that they did their job well.
Yeah.
And so, in fact, if you look at, say, very skeptical biblical scholars, like non-believing, atheist, agnostic Christian scholars, they will say if we can know anything about Jesus, like they'll cast a doubt on a lot of the things that we read about in the Gospels in terms of the actual historical Jesus of Nazareth. They'll say one thing we can be sure of is that he died by crucifixion under Pontius Pilate. Because we have not just multiple attested documents that we refer to as the New Testament, but Roman and Greek and Jewish writers refer to that claim afterwards and talk about the fact that you have this guy, and it's mocked within earliest Christianity. So one of our earliest, in fact, not one of, the earliest depiction of Jesus on the cross is called the Alexamenos Graphido. And it's probably from the end of the 1st century. And it's it
I can
depicts
guarantee you that Newton did
an
not believe
individual
in
with their
God.
arms
Alright?
raised in an act of worship.
It was just one of the things
worshiping
you had
a
to say
man
not to
with
get
a donkey's
crucified in
head
those
who's being
times.
crucified. And right beside it, it says Alexamenos worships his God in Greek.
No
And it's
intelligent
mocking,
person
right? Because crucifixion was
would
for the
believe in
lowest of the
God.
low. It was for like slaves. In fact, if you were a Roman citizen, you were banned from being crucified.
Who was it that got crucified upside
It
down?
is what it is.
Peter.
Why? Was it because like regular crucifixion wasn't good enough for him, or what was he? What didn't deserve it because Christ had gone through it?
Well, so the story is that they say we're going to crucify you, and he says it's like too big of an honor to die like my Lord, and they say,
Oh,
well, we can
boy.
fix that.
Oh Jesus!
Shut
your mouth, buddy.
Listen, the Romans were pretty brutal.
Oh yeah.
But this is why we know, like, we have. It's interesting. We know a lot about crucifixion, but crucifixion was seen as so disgusting. I believe it was Cicero who said that, like, the word crucifixion shouldn't even be on a Roman man's lips. I mean, the word excruciating,
Right.
ex is off of in Latin, and crus, off the cross. So that's where we get that word, is because this was designed to humiliate and it was designed to be as painful as possible. There was actually a really good article done by JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, which was done by a number of, I think it was in the 70s.
But intelligent people think beyond the realm
It was
of what
done
is
by
currently
a group
considered
of,
impossible.
biblical scholars
No.
and then medical professionals.
theoretical
and so they
physics.
looked at the conventions.
It's
of what we
theoretical
know about
because it's
Roman
not
crucifixion,
considered
and then they looked at the
impossible.
descriptions of the
It's
gospel to try to
theoretical.
figure out, okay, if we
Fucking
could
retard.
diagnose
Hey,
how
no,
Jesus
no,
died,
no.
how would he have died? And so they basically came up with this idea that he probably asphyxiated to death. You kind of drown in your own blood. But the chances of Jesus surviving the crucifixion, I think, are narrow to none. And the chance of him appearing 3 days later completely fine. I mean, you don't, if the first thing you do, if you survive a crucifixion and then you go and you find your disciples, the first thing you say is not, peace be with you. It's
Right.
get me to a hospital, right?
Did they have them back then?
No, not
It's
really.
also, are we entirely certain of their measurement of days?
So this is an interesting question because of the differences between when the Gospel of John says Jesus died.
God, it's so obnoxious.